Good evening, folks. Welcome to another edition of Curveball Convos with your boys at Carolina Curveball. Got a great show for you guys tonight, whether you're watching live, watching on YouTube, on a replay, or listening on Spotify. We first off want to say thank you for the support. Thank you for listening. And fellas, we have finally made it. It is conference tournament time. Postseason play has begun. Across the country begins in the Carolinas tomorrow. But first, let me introduce my full barn today, which I'm very happy about. Myself, Kason, Braxton, Reed, and Colby. Colby, how is it going, sir? And how was your birthday weekend?
Yeah, it was good. Had a good time at the game Friday night with all you guys. Finished it was kind of a back and forth game until like the fourth inning, and then Carolina poured it on. But yeah, good weekend.
It was an offensive display in Raleigh for sure. Braxton, how's it going, sir?
Yeah, going well. Enjoyed the weekend with you guys. Kind of, we're starting to hit some hot weather here today. It was like 95 today, where I'm at. So it's looking like it's gonna be possibly some weather too for some of these tournaments towards the weekend. Is that right, Reed?
Yeah, unfortunately.
That's tough. Reed, how's it going, sir?
Doing well. Yeah, had a good weekend. Good to see y'all as always. Looking forward to this week. For the conference tournaments and then selection show Monday and then into regionals.
That is correct, sir. You just laid it out. First, I am going to talk about the weekend quickly, not too quickly. We'll go over a few and then we will get into conference tournament previews. What we think, maybe discuss our conference tournament picks. Those got a lot of traction today. Want to appreciate the support for those. A lot of people think I am brain dead and have a toaster on my head by some of the replies. A comment on Instagram said I want what case and smoking. Hey, it's the good stuff. But we will get into that later. First, I'm going to run through the weekend slate and swing it around to the boys as noted. High Point defeats UNC Asheville 2-1 in their season. However, Reed, you said there was no way High Point would lose to Asheville in a game, and Asheville blanked them 11-0. So, your thoughts, Tobin?
Yeah, I was very wrong on that. Asheville could have won that series. They were up in that first game too. But nevertheless, High Point clinches the regular season in the Big South. And they move into the tournament this week, knowing that they have to get it done if they want to be playing in the NCAA tournament next week.
Also, want to shout out UNC Asheville because their season is over. They finished the year 21-34. Congratulations to the Bulldogs on another season. Another team, unfortunately, that had their season ended on Saturday was Queens. They ended their season 16-38, Braxton, which was an improvement of last year. They did end their season on a win, which is a good note.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, improvement from last year, like we talked about. They got some conference wins too in there, some conference series wins against good programs, and then obviously the big win against, pretty much the corpse of South Carolina there when it was Mary back in March or April. But I mean, yeah, improvement overall for Queens. I think you got to be kind of happy. Obviously, we got the news earlier this week that their coach is stepping down, so they're going to be looking for a new coach. So that will start. I'm sure it already has started. So hopefully they can retain some of their good players and get some other guys to come play for them in the portal this offseason and kind of revamp. But hopefully they continue in the right direction and keep getting better.
I think Kendall Rogers said that they were more than likely going to be promoting their associate coach, James Cullinan, to the position, but we'll see.
Colby, I was going to ask, have you seen any movement on Schnall to Queens?
Not what I'm hearing. Maybe Columbia, though.
Maybe Columbia. App State ends their season dropping a series to Georgia State. Radford takes the series over Charleston Southern. And Mr. Gallimore, Charlotte is in the AAC tournament. They claw back from being absolutely dead earlier in the season and make the AAC tournament as the 8 seed, correct, Tobin? And they play on Wednesday at probably 4 o'clock.
Versus Memphis again.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
they had to win this series to squeak into the play-in round, and they did. They took 2 out of 3 from Memphis, and now they play them again in the play-in game. So very familiar. We'll see how it goes.
Very, very familiar indeed. The Citadel ends their series by sweeping VMI. And guess what? They play them again on Wednesday. Clemson falls to Virginia Tech 2-1. Braxton, tough series loss here for Clemson. Just the wheels have really fallen off that train, and Clemson pretty hard. That dropped Clemson to the 15 seed in the ACC tournament, and they will face Notre Dame on Tuesday, which would be May 9th.
May 19th, yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, they've got a lot of work to do, obviously. I mean, they're going to have to get really hot here and kind of have a bit of a miracle run. I don't see it happening for them, unfortunately. But these are more so bigger wins for Virginia Tech, I think, from the weekend. They're right on the bubble as well. So they really needed to win those games, and they do so. And then they've got to have a good showing in Charlotte as well. So we'll have our eyes on them, even though they're not a Carolinas team. But yeah, Clemson. I mean, you look at Clemson and South Carolina, right? Like 2 pinnacle programs of that state, and they're both the 15 seeds in their respective conference. Like that is just not getting it done. Obviously, I would argue Clemson's had a little bit of a better season than South Carolina. Just being that they have 30 plus wins, they won the series over them, and South Carolina obviously fired their coach, but both are just not up to the standard of both those programs. And I think both sets of fan bases would absolutely agree with that. And, if you would have told me before the season that both teams would be the 15 seed, I wouldn't have believed it. I thought South Carolina would improve a little bit. Obviously they didn't. And I definitely didn't think Clemson would be this far at the bottom of the ACC. So.
Yeah, that comes out of real shock. I mean, shock before the season, yes, but as the season went on, you kind of saw the wheels falling off of that train. Trains up. College of Charleston sweeps William & Mary to end the season. VCU sweeps Davidson to end a promising Davidson regular season. Unfortunately, that dropped them to below 500 on the year in the regular season. Read the Pirates somehow dig themselves out of the grave of not winning a away series for the first time in over a year and sweep FAU, which really helped their at-large chances.
Yeah, I mean, the clock was ticking, and, that was a huge weekend. Puts them probably back inside the bubble right now. Obviously, they're still going to need a good week in Clearwater this week to hear their name called next Monday. But, I mean, they need it at the time they needed it the most for a sweep. They come through. So we'll see what they do in Clearwater this week.
Gardner-Webb ends their season on a high note. Defeating Presbyterian 2-1 and with the win as well. Presbyterian season has ended as well at 12-44, and that unfortunately is the worst record in the Carolinas this year. I think before the season, if we all placed our bets on who would be the worst record, I don't think I would have picked Presbyterian to have the worst record in the Carolinas. So unfortunate year for them, but opportunity for bounce back. And Gardner-Webb, Colby, just kind of a roller coaster of a year for them. They've had some pretty good highs during the season. We're in our power rankings at one point, had some nice wins, but then just down the stretch, just more losses than wins. And they finished the season 25-30.
Yeah, definitely a roller coaster of a year. Started off the season hot, like you said, in our rankings, and just never really put consistency together. They look really good some weeks and not so good some other weeks. So I think overall successful year for Gardner-Webb, 25-30. I think that program has a lot of potential though in the Big South. So curious to see their growth upcoming the next couple years.
Curious to see what happens with their guys in terms of eligibility and transfer portal, because they had a lot of offensive guys that I think can maybe get looks at a higher level. So curious if they can retain that talent. Another team that finished their season, North Carolina A&T, ends their year dropping the series versus Monmouth. That ends their season at 14-38. Unfortunate season for the Aggies. Upstate ends their regular season with a win over Northern Kentucky. Braxton, talk about roller coasters of a season. I don't think it gets more roller coaster-ish as USC Upstate. At one point they were out of the Big South tournament, and now they are in it. And honestly, if you said that if you placed a bet on them to win it tomorrow, I would say, hey, I don't think that's a bad bet at all.
Yeah, I think they're getting hot at the right time. They've obviously, you mentioned it. They've had a roller coaster of a season, and it's been really bad at times. I mean, they were, I think, 7 or 8 games under 500 at one point, and now they've worked themselves back here in the last month or so. And if you're going to pick a time to be hot, it's certainly right now. So I've kind of retained my belief in that team a little bit. I think they can go to Asheville and compete to win that tournament. Obviously, they're going to have to play an extra game than High Point and Winthrop, but they've proven they're able to kind of sustain arms throughout a tournament like they did last year. And I think if they find the right combination of arms, they can hit with anyone in this tournament. I think you look at the way High Point played this weekend and kind of struggled to beat Asheville. I think that's also a positive. We know Winthrop's been up and down too. The Bucks have been, they looked good, but then they come back this weekend and they lose a series. So, if you're upstate right now, it's kind of there for the taking a little bit. Like, you can be confident that you can play with any of these teams in this tournament. And like I said, it's the best time of year to be hot, and they're hot right now. So take that into Asheville, and they could find themselves back in another regional, which would be great for me and for us. So.
Reed, the Heels put on an offensive display the first 2 games in Raleigh, and then the Pack win the final one to really keep their at-large chances alive. But just kind of your quick thoughts on that series as a whole.
Yeah, Carolina got off to quick starts in both of those games on Thursday and Friday. Owen Hull had another huge weekend. He's been absolutely sensational during ACC play. I think he's batting upwards of 420 during ACC play, which is just incredible considering the start he had to the season. But then, the Pack, though, they like I said, me and Braxton and Colby had talked about, they really needed at least to take one this weekend to feel good about being inside the bubble. And, they handled business on Saturday to salvage the series. Obviously, they're going to need to probably win tomorrow against Duke, which we can touch on here in a little bit. But, I think it was a good case for both teams this weekend.
Yeah. Vanderbilt sweeps South Carolina. South Carolina is the 15th seed and plays Tennessee Tuesday, which will be tomorrow, but Tuesday, May 19th. And Colby, you think they can get a win here over Tennessee?
No.
Okay. Yep. And that is what I wanted to hear. Okay. Next, Western Carolina ends their season with a victory over UNCG. They lost the first game. And give me 1 second, trying to find that seeding. They are the 2 seed. Mercer is the 1 seed. They await for some teams to play out. 1 second. Sanford defeats Wofford. That, not sure off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure that knocked Wofford to the 4 seed, and Sanford jumped them. So, kind of interesting there. Now Wofford has to wait for Citadel or VMI, but Sanford there with a good win over Wofford.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think Sanford kind of took it to him game 1 and game 3. Wofford got the game 2 win, but I'm interested to see how Wofford plays in this tournament. They kind of sit as that 4 seed, but we've seen them go on spurts where they had a really big winning streak a couple weeks ago. I think it was 9 or 10 games. Like, this offense can really hurt you at times, and they've got a really good arm in Bouchard, who's going to give them a good start at some point in this tournament, I'm sure. And they're kind of a team that I'm having my eyes on, because they were leading the way for most of the year in the SoCon, and then just kind of fell off there. We knew that their schedule was going to get harder. We talked about how their last 4 series were kind of the top 4 teams in the SoCon besides themselves, and they didn't finish the season as strong as they want to, but this is certainly a team that's been in a regional in the last 3 years and can challenge for this tournament too. So I'm really interested to see how they do. They'll play, like you said, Citadel or VMI, the winner of that game.
Tobin, the Chanticleers finished their season limping into the Sun Belt Conference tournament. They do have the 2 seed, though, did not win the regular season as Southern Miss did. But Reed, they await the highest remaining seed, which would be Marshall, which would be Louisiana or Old Dominion or Georgia State, as the Sun Belt tournament is a little confusing by their graphic that I have here, but disappointing into the season there for Coastal.
Yeah, it certainly was. I believe they had a 4-game lead with, I think it was 4 weeks to go. I might be wrong about that. They definitely had a sizable lead at one point on Southern Miss. But, the good news is Fluky had a good start this weekend. The bad news is they've lost their past 2 series and are kind of out of the hosting picture right now. But, this team went to the national title last year. They won the Sun Belt tournament last year. So, I mean, they have the DNA to get it done. They got to come back, this week in Montgomery and, see if they can put it together. If they, maybe were to go on to beat Southern Miss, I still think they might have an outside chance of working their way back into a top 16 seed. But, I mean, it's still a team I do not want to see as a 2 in my regional.
Yeah, that's a team you do not want to see at all. Another team I don't think you want to see, but did have a slip up this weekend, Colby, was Wake Forest. Win the first 2, clinched the series, but then dropped the last one versus Duke. What do you kind of think this means for them going into Charlotte?
Yeah, going into the weekend, I thought they completed the sweep at Duke and then advanced pretty far in the ACC tournament, they'd be pretty close to being in that hosting picture, getting the 16, maybe 15 seed. But taking 2 out of 3, obviously they won the series, but losing 1 to Duke isn't great for the rise of their RPI. So they probably, in my opinion, and Reed and Braxton obviously know more than me, but they probably would need to win the ACC tournament to get back in that hosting picture.
Probably.
Yeah.
Maybe if they beat like Carolina, I think is in their path.
Yeah, they're going to need some help too. I mean, certainly winning the ACC tournament would probably help their case, but I mean, they're going to need some teams that are right on that hosting bubble to lose too.
Absolutely. Campbell sweeps Wilmington. Kind of not really a shock, but Campbell really took care of business versus Wilmington, and they stay down there for the conference tournament. And lastly, Winthrop ends their regular season with a series win over Longwood as they await the trying to think, what is it? We'll start to get into it right now as they wait Upstate and Longwood. They could potentially play Longwood again or Upstate in the Big South tournament. But that will do it for the regular season, fellas. Braxton, we posted today a win percentage graphic. Just kind of what are your biggest takeaways from that one, and just some, whether it's at the top or at the bottom as the regular season has come to an end?
Yeah, I think, I'm really impressed with the season that Campbell and High Point put together. I mean, I think when you look at Campbell's record, it's really off the charts. I did not expect them to go 26-4 or whatever it was in league play. They competed. I knew they were for real when they competed really well against Carolina in that 14-inning contest in the midweek. I just knew like that for this team to take a jump, they would kind of have to have some better pitching. And David Rousseau, I think, has been a real bright spot for that pitching staff. So that's a team that I definitely would say, had an up year, we'll call it. If you want to talk about the bottom, I mean, obviously, I'm a little bit surprised by Elon being as low as they were. This is a team that generally hits the ball really well. I think they had a really good offensive year, but they struggled on the mound desperately. We saw that throughout the season. I think South Carolina being down there is worrying. Obviously, we've talked about them plenty. Duke, obviously, this is a team that spent most of the year in our rankings and just finished the year really poorly. Obviously, they had some bad luck with injuries, but me and you, Casey, talked about this. Like, this is a first-year head coach. It's going to take some time for him to kind of get settled in that program and build it up to where they were. I mean, they were in a super regional last year, so this is definitely a down year for them, being 5 games under 500 and 16 seed in the ACC tournament. So those are probably a few of my takes on it, but obviously, we could go through every team in that, but it was a cool graphic to kind of see, what teams were winning at the highest rates. And if you look at throughout the Carolinas, it's good to see that, the majority of teams are over 500, which is always nice to see. We have good baseball down here. We want to see that. So, obviously you can't be everyone because we beat up on each other. But I was really impressed with some of the records that they had throughout the Carolinas.
I agree. Colby, any takeaways from the regular season or the regular season records?
Yeah, just looking at the graphic, UNCG, used to be really a proud and really good program, and I'm brain farting. The last 2 years haven't been very kind to UNCG, and that's tough to see for us because they usually give State a run for their money every midweek. I know they always play Wake Forest well in the midweeks, and just another tough season for UNCG. And I think for us at Curveball, it would be really beneficial to see them get back on track to what they were years ago.
Reed Tobin, lastly, your thoughts?
Yeah, y'all both make good points there, but I think you just have to look at my biggest takeaway was just the down year for some of the teams here. Obviously, we've talked about South Carolina too, Duke, Clemson especially. But I look at the way how Wilmington ended the past month. They really struggled. They're limping into the conference tournament this week, and they're 2 games over 500. Things have gone south pretty quick in Wilmington.
Yeah, I do agree to that, and I want to touch on some positive. I want to touch on App State having a really good season, finishing their regular season at 30-22. Really good for them. And Western Carolina, we haven't touched on, really kind of pushed Wofford and kind of passed them as the season went on, which is really good for Western Carolina. And as you guys said, Campbell having that resurgence like they've needed and wanted in the past couple of years. So thank you, Braxton, for that. Also want to give a big thank you to Braxton, Reed, and Colby for all the work that you guys do to make all these graphics possible. We could not do it without each other, without you guys. So just wanted to say thank you for that. And be sure to follow us at Carolina Curve BB to see all that content. We also posted our stat leaders today: saves, wins, strikeouts, ERA, stolen bases, RBIs, home runs, and batting average. You can all check out that and on our social medias. But Reed Tobin, this is what the people are here for, the conference tournament previews. And I am down to go about this however you guys want to go about it. I will make sure we don't forget a conference tournament that we have to talk about because I printed out each sheet, so I will know. So, Reed, I will let you begin. In which tournament do we want to discuss first?
Y'all just want to go in alphabetical order?
Yeah, that's probably
the easiest way.
Yeah. So ACC to start.
Yeah. Are we going to pull up a bracket for it, or are we just going to talk about it?
Just talk about it, Tobin.
Yeah, if you've got it, you have it pulled up, Reed. Like, are you able to look at it?
Yeah, I have it right here. We get started tomorrow down here in the Charlotte area. Baseball and brunch bright and early tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. The Pack get it going against Duke, a little in-state rivalry. Going into this week, State knows they have to win tomorrow. I think a loss tomorrow would really hurt their chances of hearing their name called. We touched on it. They needed a win, at least I thought one win against Carolina this past weekend. They did that in game 3. So now you got to go out tomorrow and handle business. Colby, are they starting Heath Andrews, I believe, tomorrow?
Yep.
Didn't seem too confident there. Don't seem too thrilled.
He pitched well. Or like,
Yeah, I thought he was great against Carolina besides the 5th inning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I prefer not to say my thoughts about Heath Andrews. But they have to win tomorrow. So hopefully he pitches well. I'll be a big fan of his tomorrow.
Yeah, and then then we got the West Coast game too, following State Duke, Cal and Stanford. And then, obviously we've got Clemson too tomorrow. They've got to go on a miracle run like you touched on, Braxton. I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, I think they're just, if they were to make a run, they're going to run out of pitching. I mean, that's the downside. In some of these tournaments, if you start on Tuesday in these single elimination brackets as a really low seed, I mean, you're going to have to play a ton of games, and most teams don't have the depth to play.
Who was it last year that made a run? One of those. It was like the 16 seed. Was it Cal? Remember that?
Yeah, or was it Stanford? I can't remember. Cal or Stanford.
It was one of the California teams. They were like the first game of the weekend, and they won the first 2 games.
I think they were like the 13 seed or something like that. Yeah.
I thought
they
was
beat Miami.
16.
They beat Miami, I think.
But to point out on that, Reed, real quick, like I'm really happy they moved to this format last year because they finally got rid of the stupid pool play that we all hated.
It was the worst thing ever. I mean, having meaningful
there was
games.
conference. There was another conference I looked at that's doing that though. I think it's the
Conference USA.
Yeah, it's just like why are
so
we still
unmeaningful games on Friday night? I mean, it was a joke.
Yeah. So really happy to see them kind of go to like the basketball setup where it's just straight up single elimination style. And that also makes for more interesting games too, knowing that it's win or go home. So I just wanted to point that out because it allows for everyone to be in it, and we don't have, like you said, meaningless Friday games that mean absolutely nothing.
Yeah, so, Louisville and Pitt.
I like the pool play. I like the pool play.
I don't know how. I absolutely hated it. I mean, your tournament could be over on Tuesday. I mean, it was so dumb.
I mean, it could be over on Tuesday anyway, but I'm saying.
Well, I'm just saying, but still having to play another game later in the week, knowing your tournament was over on Tuesday. And then, Louisville and Pitt in the 11-14 to end the game or to close the nightcap out
tomorrow.
What time do y'all think the ACC tournament wraps up tomorrow night? I'm saying
1 a.m.
1:30 in the morning.
Then right back at it at 9 a.m. with Virginia. And probably State or Duke. So
we can touch on those other matchups. I think State will beat Duke tomorrow. I think they handle business, and I think they're liking that matchup against Virginia. That's a Virginia team that's really struggled over the past month. 14-16 to finish their ACC record. I think they've lost their last 3 series too. So I mean, they're hanging on by a thread to be a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. And then Miami is the 5 seed. They get the winner of Stanford and Cal. And then Virginia Tech is the 7. They get the winner of Notre Dame, Clemson, and then the 6 seed Wake at 9:00 will get the winner of Louisville and Pitt. Braxton, do you want to touch on Wake a little bit? Your thoughts for them?
I mean,
this week?
I think that they have a chance. They actually don't run into North Carolina. They run into Florida State if they were to win their first game. But just touching on North Carolina, they have to wait till Friday at 3 p.m. to play their first game. So they've got a little bit of rest here before they play with the double bye, of course. And then one more thing on State, if you're able to beat Duke and then Virginia, then you get, here's Georgia Tech after using a lot of pitching. So, but that would be enough for State to win those 2 games. That would be plenty. I think they would be comfortably in at that point. So not to worry, but tomorrow is going to be the big one for State.
Well, the way State wants to plan their staff is obviously tomorrow with Andrews. If they win that game, then there will be Consiglio against Virginia, and then you win that game, you have your best available arm for Georgia Tech. So they're kind of setting up how they want it to, but I think it's just a big risk. I know Andrews pitched good against Carolina besides 1 inning, but big risk with Andrews tomorrow in a must-win game.
I mean, your best arm also threw what 2 days ago. So I mean,
Yeah, so obviously he can't pitch.
Yeah.
I was hoping maybe like Hemrick or even Mikey Ragusa. He's been one of the better arms recently, so we'll have to see. It's a 9 a.m. game. Hopefully Andrews has it because, like we said, State won't make it if they lose tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, State. I mean, you handle business tomorrow, but then let's say they win tomorrow and then lose to Virginia on Wednesday. Then, I mean, I still think they're good, but then you come to the expense of you're hoping teams don't steal bids. Same with ECU too. If they don't win the conference tournament too, which we'll touch on here in a second. But that's what you got to watch out here too this week. These teams sitting right here on the bubble is what teams are going to steal bids. That's something I've always had my eye on this week.
Our picks for the ACC tournament are Braxton, Georgia Tech, Kaysen, Boston College, Colby, Matt, Georgia Tech, Technician, Louisville, and Reed, UNC.
Can you explain that BC pick, Kaysen?
I believe in the Eagles, brother. Crazier things have happened. The next tournament I want to discuss is the American Conference Tournament, which they have since changed the format as well. We have Charlotte playing on Wednesday, and then East Carolina is waiting for their potential matchup on Friday. So going to be a minute to see who ECU plays. But Colby, can Charlotte get it done on Wednesday?
Yeah, I think they can. Obviously, just took 2 out of 3. I don't know how far they'll make it into the tournament, but it'd be nice for them to win the play-in, at least have a shot.
Yeah.
Charlotte, if they win, would then place with. So the first game is single elimination versus Memphis. If they win, they will then face UAB, and they will then, if they win, play UTSA. If they lose, they then go into double elimination, and then that's where it gets kind of funky. East Carolina is awaiting the winner of FAU versus Wichita State, and then that winner will then play Rice. So then the winner of the Rice versus that game will be who East Carolina plays. It is double elimination at that point. Until the championship, correct? It is just winner take all in the championship. That is what I'm reading.
Correct.
Right now. So that is good for the American. ECU needs – I would think that if ECU makes the conference title game, I would say they are in. They do have a regular season co-championship, and I think if they win 2 games in the tournament and then, let's say, lose to UTSA or Rice, I think they're in.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that, but we'll have to see what some of these other bubble teams around them do, and then obviously some of the bid stealers too. Because, I mean, say they were to play Rice in the conference title, I mean, then you're sitting there, ECU, UTSA, potentially. The American sure isn't going to get 3 teams, I would think, into the tournament. But yeah, I mean, this is always one of the hardest tournaments to predict. I mean, we've seen the chaos in this year in and year out. Obviously, last year ECU won it. I believe they were the 6th seed last year, Kaysen. 5
yes,
seed, 6 seed.
Yes, and I also want to note that ECU athletic director John Gilbert is on the selection committee. Yeah. And you can say what you want about putting biases aside, but there's always a human element to it, whether it's the NCAA men's basketball tournament or the college football playoff. There is human element. So John Gilbert being in that room, I think, does play a factor into that. So that is my opinion on that. Our AAC picks are, it's not the AAC anymore, the American Conference. Braxton, Rice, Kaysen, East Carolina, Colby, Matt, both riding together again. Pause. UTSA, Tech, ECU, Reed, ECU. So that wraps up our American. The next one, Braxton, is no ASUN, unfortunately. Queens has been eliminated.
Yeah.
Big South?
Yeah, Big South, probably.
Big South, correct, yes. So Big South, bunch of Carolina's teams in there. The first one is Charleston Southern and Radford on Wednesday at 11 a.m. And then Upstate and Longwood, 3 p.m. Charleston Southern and Radford. The winner of that game will play High Point. Upstate Longwood will play Winthrop. Braxton. I really like this tournament format. I like how it is set up. I think this is how it should be set up, giving those higher seeds the bye and letting them rest until Thursday is crucial. Same with the American in the past. The 1 and 2 seeds will be playing on Tuesday. Now they wait on Friday, which is good. Friday, excuse me. But Braxton, the way that we have the Big South shaking up, Braxton, you have your alma mater Upstate. Kaysen, myself, I have Winthrop. Colby has High Point. Matt and James have Charleston Southern. Reed, you have High Point as well.
I was very close to taking Upstate. Like
well,
you said, Braxton. I mean, yeah, they've won 10 out of their last 11. You want to be playing your best ball of the season right now, and I mean, they certainly are.
Yeah, another thing to note here is this is not in High Point. This is in Asheville this year. So,
yeah,
a little bit maybe if you're High Point, you have that kind of not home field advantage, but you're sleeping in your own bed type of thing. Now it's going to be a few hours away in Asheville, where everyone will be kind of hitting the road. So, just something to note. But I'm excited to see how the Virginia teams play too, because these are two teams that really haven't been in this tournament the last couple of years. It's more so been Presbyterian, and Gardner Webb's been in a couple of years too. So I want to see how they perform in a tournament setting. But we talked about the Big South being kind of a 3 and 4 head race all year, and that's your top 4 seeds in High Point, Winthrop, Upstate, and Charleston Southern. So I think the winner's going to come out of those 4. But that's not to say that Longwood and Radford can't give these guys a game as well.
Yeah, and talk about a nice place to watch baseball. Get a nice Airbnb in Asheville for the weekend, for the week. Stay there and watch some baseball. That'd be one heck of a weekend. Another heck of a weekend destination would be Wilmington, where the CAA tournament is. And the host team, UNC Wilmington, playing at Brooks Field. None of us picked them to win the tournament. Braxton, you have Campbell. Colby, me and you riding with Northeastern. Money, Tech, and Reed riding with Campbell as well. This is definitely Campbell's tournament to lose. They are the 1 seed. They will face the lower seed of games 1 and 2, if I'm reading that correctly. So they will not play. Yeah, so it's not necessarily Charleston versus Hofstra. If Wilmington wins versus Monmouth, they will then play Campbell, correct, Braxton?
Yes. So if Wilmington wins, that's definitely who will play Campbell. If Monmouth were to win, then Campbell would play the winner of that other game.
Correct, yes. Colby, do you see, besides our Northeastern, do you see Wilmington possibly knocking off Campbell here, or is Campbell just too much of a juggernaut at this point?
No, I don't think so. And I already regret my Northeastern pick. I think Campbell's going to win. I don't know why I picked Northeastern.
Dude, I mean, they just played there, and Joey Morton hit 4 home runs in a game on this launch pad of a field. Like, he's seeing the ball really well. Like, they're going to hit 1 million home runs this week.
Yeah, I don't know what got into me with the Northeastern pick. Yeah, I like Campbell overall.
Reed, is there any home field advantage here for Wilmington?
I mean, I can't rule them out. I mean, they've proven they can do it time and time again. I mean, they've had such a great history in this tournament, so I feel like you can't rule them out. I know they're really struggling right now, but I mean, if there's a positive note, maybe they only have to play Campbell 1 time. I know they just got swept by them this weekend, but they were to upset them. And then Campbell somehow gets eliminated in their other game they have to play. So I think the chances are low. I mean, Campbell obviously should be the heavy favorites going in this week. I mean, watch out for Northeastern. I mean, we saw what they did last year, but I mean, Wilmington chances are slim.
I want to see how Wilmington sets up their staff, Reed, because, obviously they have to win game 1. So I'm assuming, they'll probably go Allen there. And then
Yeah, I would.
You got to hope that you get a really good start out of either Marshburn or whoever
Thornley.
to beat Campbell. Like you're gonna, and that's a guy that could do it, right? Like I don't think like this is where their pitching depth is going to come into play, because I certainly think they've struggled more offensively than they have on the mound this year. They've been pretty solid on the mound, but I just don't know how they're gonna. If they get to the bullpen early, like Campbell's going to score loads of runs, especially at that park.
I agree.
So you got to win game one. I can't. I don't think you should save. I mean, Monmouth's no pushover. Like they're the 3 seed for a reason in this conference. So I will be interested to see what they do though with their pitching. The team we haven't talked about real quick in this tournament is Charleston. I mean, they finished the season really strong. Reed, we talked about how they've kind of turned it around. Watch out for them too. Just in terms of maybe this is the team that knocks off Campbell. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but they certainly can. They're well coached. Did they beat Campbell this year? Did they hand them one of those 4 losses? Maybe one game.
See. No, they got swept.
They did. Oh, nope.
They played twice, didn't they?
They went 0-6 against him.
Okay, well.
Goodness gracious.
So,
Goodness gracious.
Like you said, it's Campbell's to lose, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Want to backtrack on one? The A10. We missed that one. That one was above the ACC. Our lone Carolina team is Davidson, sitting at the 6th seed, the lowest seed in the A10 tournament. Unfortunate for them, because at one point they were tied for 2nd in the A10, but their kind of fall towards the end of the year hurt them. They played VCU, who just swept them. They play them on Wednesday at 3 p.m. So playing VCU 4 times in a row. Hey, you never know. It's hard to beat a team 4 times. If they do win that game, they will then place Richmond. It is double elimination. So if they do lose, they're not completely dead. But this is St. Joe's tournament to lose. I mean, they finished the season on an absolute tear. I mean, their whole season was a tear. But Braxton, you have VCU winning this tournament. Colby, and Reed have St. Joe's winning. Matt does have his Wildcats winning. Probably has them as in a super regional, like his bowl prediction was last year, which was quite something. And then James has 4-seed George Mason winning this tournament. James probably is thinking of 2023, I think it was, when George Mason beat his Pirates. So that's probably what went through James's thought process there. Thinks it's probably the same exact team, but no, James, it's not. So that is the A10. The next one.
Watch out for VCU, I will say.
I agree.
Sorry to interrupt. I picked St. Joseph's, but like Colby mentioned, with not picking against Campbell, I kind of wish I didn't pick against VCU. I mean, they've ended the season really hot. They were the one team to beat St. Joseph in a series this year, in the American too, and then they destroyed Davidson this past weekend too. So they've proven they can do it before. So watch out for them this weekend.
Yeah, this is a much more loaded field than I initially thought. Just looking at it, like George Mason can win it. Davidson, we know, can be solid, and then don't count out Richmond either. Too, they finished the season really well. But like you said, Reed, my VCU pick was purely I was able to watch VCU Davidson this weekend a little bit, and I was impressed with VCU. They had really, really good at bats, and even their arms on the mound looked good. So I saw enough to believe that they could win this tournament. But I think it is St. Joseph that is theirs to lose as well. So just wanted to touch on that real quick. But I'm with you, Reed. VCU is one to watch out for.
The A10 tournament is also being played in Tysons, Virginia. Just wanted to let y'all know we should be saying that for each one. Also want to shout out A10. They have the best printable bracket here. If you look, it is quite nice. All the logos at the bottom, the faded logo in the middle. Very nice format. Good job by the A10. Next is the SEC, correct? Yes.
Yes.
I think
Right.
and the Big 12, since you got a Cincinnati baseball shirt on, if you want to talk about that.
Shout out. Shout out to Colby. Great boy. Shout out.
Good team.
Shout out Cincinnati baseball. Good team. I unfortunately did not pick them to win the Big 12 tournament. You know what? I should switch that. I did have Central Florida winning. Braxton, you have Oklahoma State. Colby, you have Kansas. Matt and Tech both have West Virginia. Reed, you have Oklahoma State. But wanted to shout out the Bearcats. My brother Jonathan is a big fan of the Bearcats, so we went up there for a football game to see the Bengals and then also Cincinnati Bearcats play the Pirates. And then I stopped by the shop and got a baseball shirt. Pretty sick. So, Colby, good shit, brother. And Colby, I'm going to keep it with you, Colby. What's it going to take for us to have a Missouri-South Carolina SEC championship?
I'm going to the casino this weekend. I think there's a better chance of me walking out $1 million richer.
Colby, speaking of being at the casino, for the SEC, since we can't really talk about South Carolina, if you're going to place a bet, one team in Danville to win the SEC, who are you placing it on?
I think I picked Georgia, but I kind of like Auburn maybe as a little sleeper. I know they're one of the top seeds, but I think outside of Georgia, Texas, maybe like an Auburn or a Texas A&M could be another good odds play.
Yeah. I picked Alabama. Braxton picked Texas. Colby, like you said, you picked the Dogs. Matt picked A&M. James picked Ole Miss. Reed picked Auburn. Somehow all of us have different SEC picks, which I think is pretty neat. Reed, just kind of your quick breakdown of the SEC tournament. Reed, let's just be real. It'll be the most watched conference tournament by far.
Yeah, I mean, it is every year, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, anyone could win. I mean, Hoover's always, you never know what's going to happen down there. I mean, it's a long week of baseball. I mean, anyone. I mean, the SEC is probably going to get 12 to 13 teams into the NCAA tournament. So a lot of these teams are just battling it out for, what seed they'll be hearing their name called next week. But I like Auburn. I think they have the best pitching depth of anyone. Georgia offensively, really good team. And then, Texas, really good. I'd watch out for Florida too. And then, Tennessee and Arkansas, they've really turned it on here the past few weeks. If one of them were to make a run, I could see them working their way into the hosting picture.
Bash, you got anything in the SEC? If not, we can go on.
No, I think Texas is the most complete team. That's why I went with them. Obviously this could be anyone's tournament, but I'm looking at least probably 6, probably more hosts on here, probably 7. Yeah, 6, 7, maybe 8. Reed, what do you think? What's the maximum number of teams you see hosting out of the SEC?
Let's see. Definitely the top 6. Let's say 8 max.
Yeah,
and I think there's a guaranteed 6 right now. Georgia, Texas, A&M, Alabama, Florida, Auburn, and then both the Mississippi schools still have a chance. Probably more so Mississippi State, and then like I said, Tennessee, Arkansas, or maybe Oklahoma, if they were to win the conference tournament, could host too as well.
And
Is
Jay
A&M
Johnson
going to be a top 8?
Go ahead, Colby.
Who?
Is A&M going to be a top 8, or are they just
maybe?
I think they're right there on the bubble. I think they're sitting right there in the 8 to 10 range. I think they need to do some work, in my opinion, this week in Hoover. I don't think they have a lot of good enough series wins. In my opinion, yeah, they have the series win against Texas, but I think they need to maybe get to the semis this week to be a top 8.
Gotcha.
Any Jay Johnson matches this weekend, fellas? LSU?
I hope not. I mean, they've lost 6 in a row, finished 29 and 27. I mean, it's been a disaster of the season. I mean, he's even came out and publicly said he'll never do what he did again with this team in the future. So I don't know what that really means. If it's more with the transfer portal, or I mean, it'll be interesting to see.
Or Jay Johnson?
Jay Johnson sounds like Will Wade, though.
Yeah.
He's basically telling his own players or shit. To move on to the SoCon tournament, this is the one I'm honestly looking forward to the most. Just to clarify, Reed, is Mercer an at-large team right now?
I would certainly say, as of right now, yes. We saw the week they had last week, obviously the huge win at Georgia Tech, and then they carried it onto the weekend with a sweep. They've won 8 in a row, and their RPI is all the way up to 26.
wow.
And we've touched on the bubble being so bad this year. I mean, so I have a hard time seeing them not being in the field. I mean, maybe if they lose their opening game and go, it's double elimination, correct? Right?
Yeah. Yes,
Yep.
it is.
Maybe if they were to go 0-2 and take 2 really bad losses, but I mean, I just don't see that happening. But I mean, credit to Mercer. I mean, they're a really good team.
Correct. Braxton, I had a question for you, dude. What if this team had Ty Daly? Did Ty Daly make the wrong decision of transferring to Clemson?
I mean, that's, in retrospect, I maybe, but like you don't want to look at it that way. I think he just didn't really have the year he wanted to. I mean, it happens, right? Like not everyone makes the jump and just hits the ground running. It's baseball. He could come back. I'm not saying he's coming back. I don't know what he's doing, but like he could have a year next year where he's phenomenal again. And I think this team's just fine without him. I mean, Mercer's proven how good they are with their win against Georgia Tech last week in the midweek. And they're going to need to take care of business here, though, to just make absolutely sure. I think it's important for them in Western both to just really like focus on winning this tournament, because you win the tournament you're in. Like, you don't want to leave it up to the committee. We know what they've done with teams that are kind of sitting right there. I mean, we always use the College of Charleston example. Like, no one wants to be that team that just has a tremendous season and gets snubbed on selection day. Like, I would be sick if like Mercer or Western Carolina get snubbed. I think Mercer is less likely to get snubbed than what like a Western would be. So like I really want Western to win this tournament. But that being said, I would like it to be a Carolina's team. If it's Wofford, great. If it's Citadel, awesome. And then I'm really hoping that Citadel and UNCG win their play-in games just to kind of eliminate a couple of like ETSU's a team that makes a run at it every year as well. But we did mention that VMI is probably the only team we could see not winning this tournament.
Yeah, VMI is just talk about a crazy year.
Yeah, 3-18 so getting it done.
The path right now for Western Carolina is first ETSU and UNCG, like Braxton mentioned. The winner of that game, the play-in game, will play Samford. The winner of Samford versus that game, ETSU versus UNCG, would then play Western Carolina. And at that point, it is now double elimination. And then Mercer is sitting on the other side, awaiting Wofford, probably playing the Citadel or VMI. So the only way for Mercer and Western Carolina to meet is in the championship. So with that being said, Braxton, Kaysen, Matt, and Tech, we have Western Carolina. Colby and Reed, you guys have Mercer. So, do you guys have any comments on that before I move on?
No, I hope Western wins because I think Mercer's going to get in that large. So definitely rooting for one of the Carolina schools. But, I'll touch Citadel, I think, is the team I've got my eye on the most. They ended their we saw them compete really well at the beginning of the season with that brutal non-conference schedule they played. And then, they kind of struggled to start a conference play, but they've really picked it up here the past few weeks. And me and Braxton have touched on it. Their pitching staff is really good, and that's what you need in a format like this. So, I think they're going to handle business tomorrow on Wednesday against VMI. And, is potentially a team to look out to make a run this week.
Okay. The last tournament is the Sun Belt. The Sun Belt has their bracket confuses me a little bit how it's structured, but there is a first round single elimination tomorrow, Tuesday, May 19th. It is Marshall versus Louisiana. Louisiana, who just took a series versus App State and Coastal Carolina. And then Georgia State and Old Dominion. Old Dominion took a series from Coastal Carolina as well. So Coastal will weight the
when do they-
lowest. Excuse me.
When does Coastal play? I don't think I have them on here.
Coastal will play Wednesday, 5:20 at 12:30.
Oh, I do. I do. Okay,
Yeah.
I see them now. Sorry about
So
it.
Coastal's waiting right there. App State's game is set at 5:20, not 5:20 in the morning, May 20th at 9 a.m. versus Texas State. And if App State wins that game, as well as if Coastal wins that game, or if they both lose, they will play each other. So potential for App State and Coastal because they are on the same side of the bracket. On the flip side, Southern Miss sits there awaiting the highest seed, which would be Marshall, Old Dominion, or Georgia State. So, yeah, read your comments on some of those, sir.
I think everyone here is just curious to see how is Coastal going to respond this weekend. Obviously, you want to be playing your best ball at this time of year, and they're certainly not. I mean, they have the talent to recover. And then I would love to see App State make a run too this week. But with the way Southern Miss has been playing the past few weeks with a top 8 seed on the line, I think they've got to be the heavy favorites coming into this week.
I would agree. Braxton, Kaysen, Matt, Reed, we all have Southern Miss. Colby, you believe in Chanticleers. In Tech, he's on an island. He has Louisiana Raging Cajuns winning this tournament. So
I like
Good
that
for-
pick. They
good
beat App
for the
State.
Technics.
Beat App State 2 weekends ago. And they beat Coastal this past weekend. It's not a bad pick. They're kind of sitting right there on the bubble.
They
That
are
was
playing
one of-
well.
That was one of the Tech's few picks that I didn't mind. So
Because he's the pick police. Colby, what went into your decision of picking Coastal Carolina?
I don't know. Not much, obviously, since I don't really have an answer. I kind of like them to bounce back. I know it's been a tough stretch, but yeah, I was looking. I think I saw all your guys' picks, and I wanted to pick Coastal. Yeah, not much thought, obviously, but hope Coastal gets it done.
I do respect it, and I will say I'm not counting on their downfall, but I did say Coastal Carolina would not host a regional this season, and I'm kind of thinking that's going to cash out. So
I forgot
we're
about
going to
that.
quote tweet those at the end of the season. So they called me crazy.
I said Clemson was going to go to Omaha.
I will add last year something to keep in mind. Southern Miss hosted a regional with the 19th being 19 in RPI. Coastal's sitting at 24, I believe, right now. So I mean, if they were to win the conference tournament this weekend, I'm thinking if they beat Southern Miss in the title, their RPI is probably going to get into the top 20. And then, obviously with what they did last year, I would have a hard time seeing the committee not giving them a host. Just something to keep in mind.
Okay. And that will do it for our conference tournament previews. And I'm actually going to run through our bowl predictions. I have them pulled up right now because they're actually in conjunction with what we have right now. Braxton, you first, sir. Braxton said 5 NCAA regional hosts from the Carolinas. Campbell makes it back to an NCAA regional.
Live.
Good. And then Western Carolina wins SoCon. That is alive as well, too.
Yeah, I mean, we will count it if they win the tournament. I was really hoping they just win the regular season because that's kind of what I was thinking at. But we'll count it if they win the tournament, I think. If they go to a regional.
Yeah, fair enough.
Reed Tobin, a team from the SEC, will not win the College World Series. That one is still alive. South Carolina misses the tournament, and Paul Maneri is fired. Ching. 4 NCAA regional hosts from the Carolinas.
Not happening.
It's okay. Colby, Clemson returns to Omaha for the first time since 2010. Okay. Colby, Winthrop wins the Big South tournament. That one is alive and well as they're the 2 seed. And the last one, Elliott Avent wins first ACC championship in 30 years as head coach.
Let's go.
It's okay. It's
bad.
okay. James's East Carolina breaks down the door to Omaha. It's not looking good.
That'll be a yearly tradition.
James's gold one. North Carolina misses the NCAA tournament. Unless the whole team gets hantavirus or something, they're not going to miss. They're not going to miss the tournament. So that one's bad. And then James does have one that just cashed. Campbell wins the CAA regular season. So hey, he does have one cashed out. Matt Cider Cannon selected the first team All ACC. I think that one would have cashed if he played. If he played the season.
Yeah,
That's a void.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
His Charleston Southern wins the Big South. It's still live technically.
Could happen.
Matt also has East Carolina breaks down the door to Omaha. Kaysen, the American will be a 3-bid league. That is looking very, 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 very bleak.
It looked good a few weeks ago.
It did look pretty good. Coastal will not host an NCAA regional.
That's looking good.
And then Kaysen said Wofford wins the SoCon regular season and the tournament. It looked good for a minute, but only one of those is possible. So not too bad from both predictions. I would say each of us are shooting around 33%. So not too bad.
I wouldn't cash out. I wouldn't cash out on that Coastal one just yet, Casey.
Yeah, they could host.
Yeah, I wouldn't cash out. Yeah,
and that Tech UNC not making regionals should count as negative too. Honestly,
I mean that might go down as arguably one of the worst takes in college baseball history.
Yeah, it was very bold. I wasn't that high on Carolina before the season. They outdid expectations. I think many thought there would be a drop off there. Not many thought they'd be even better than last year's team. So I kind of understand his logic, but yeah, it obviously they're the number 2 team in the country right now. So are we doing bold predictions for conference tournament, or are we saving it for regionals? Or what do you want to do?
We're gonna save it for regionals because I think regionals.
Well, let's just do it for fun to end the show then.
Okay, perfect. Do we want to do? Let's each do a bold prediction outside the Carolinas and then one inside the Carolinas.
All right.
Okay.
Cool.
I'll go. Let's do our inside the Carolina one first. I'll go first.
Do you mean it has to be in it? Can it be a non-Carolinas team in a Carolinas league? If that makes sense.
Yes, correct. So we're gonna do one Carolina League One and one non-Carolina League One. I'll go first.
All right.
Queens comes from the dead and wins the A-Sun Conference
They're not even in it.
They're not even in the.
That's what I'm joking. Relax.
We never know.
I would say my boldest prediction would be. Man, this is hard. Does anyone else have one that they have off the top of their head?
Off rip. Go ahead, Braxton.
I kind of wanted to change this team. Actually, no, never mind. This is dumb because they're hosting it. I was going to say Wright State loses the Horizon League, but that's just dumb. Let's go.
Tobin, Campbell winning the CAA is not a bold prediction. Just want to let you know.
No shit.
Yale wins the Ivy.
That's not bold either.
Holy Cross did beat Bucknell today in their first game. Just
they
throw it out there. Yeah.
I'm trying to find the lowest.
Okay. I got my first non-Carolina one, bold one. The Field wins the Big Ten tournament.
Okay, I like that.
I like that. Yeah.
Field.
Yeah, I like that.
UCLA looks like
UCLA.
That was mine.
Oh, Colby. That's on me.
UCLA looks a little more prone than they have all season. The past few weeks, they really struggled again. I know they won the series against Washington this weekend, but I mean, they could have lost that series, and they should have lost the series to Oregon 2 weeks ago. And then, they don't have Logan. Logan Redmond's still hurt, so I like that case in Colby.
I have a bold prediction.
Go ahead, Brooks.
Conference USA, the 2 of the 3 top teams, so Jacksonville State, Missouri State, and Liberty, 2 of those 3 teams will get pulled or however you say it, will not make it past pool play because of that stupid format.
That's cool. That's a good one.
I'll specific mine. I'll say USC after going 1-10 and Quad 1 wins the Big Ten tournament.
Ooh, that would be sick.
Okay.
My Carolina's one is State will lose tomorrow to Duke.
My God.
That's not bold for Colby standards, though.
No.
My Carolina's one is ECU loses. Both of their losses come to Rice, the American champion.
Okay.
They would play them in the first game. Or no, wait. Yeah, they would play Rice, right? If Rice were
Yes.
they will beat
Rice
ECU.
wins.
They'll beat ECU on Friday. They will come back. ECU will make it to the championship and lose to Rice in the championship.
Kaysen, do you
Definitely see
think
that.
ECU will throw Norby on Friday, or do you think
They're not going
keep
to
him?
switch it up. They're going to go Towers Friday. Towers been pitching better anyways, and I think you keep on that same routine Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, what's working, keep it. Yeah, I agree. My bold prediction, I'll go. I think there's going to be multiple bid stealers this week. I'm going to set the number at 3. I don't know what conferences they're going to come from, but I'll go with 3 bid stealers this week.
It wouldn't be a bold prediction without a Tobin special.
A Tobin chalk it up. I mean, my God. I mean, holy shit.
Whatever you can what is even considered a bid stealer? Just someone that's not projected to make
in the tournament. Yeah.
Tournament. I mean, but how do we even measure that? Like, you could argue that. I don't know, who would be a bid stealer?
Duke.
Duke.
Yeah, Duke.
Yeah, obviously, but
Creighton.
Clemson.
All right, fair enough. But come on.
All right, I got my other than State will lose to Duke tomorrow. Wake Forest wins the ACC.
I can see that. Solid.
I like it.
Then they'd host probably, maybe.
I have my Carolinas one, and I like it a lot actually. I have UNCG beating ETSU, then beating Samford, then beating Western, but then losing to Western the next game, and then losing to them in the double elimination. So I have UNCG going 3-0, but then I have UNCG going 3-2. I have them beating Western.
Let's just do it. UNCG wins their first 3 games.
Yes, UNCG wins their first 3 games.
Okay, fair enough.
And then they run out of arms, which is what's going to happen when you play on Wednesday, excuse me. All right, Tobin, let's go.
Pick some Presbyterian in there somehow.
What'd you say?
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. App gets to the conference final. I don't think they win it, but I think they get to the conference final.
Wow, Tobin, that's the boldest one you've had all year. I like that, Tobin.
I really want that to happen.
I would love that.
I think if they play Coastal, I think they get revenge in that semis game if the bracket aligns. I believe how it
As
will.
much as I'd love to see Coastal versus Southern Miss, I'd love for it to be 2 other teams in that.
Yeah. I mean, maybe if the Sun Belt would just do the world a favor and give us a series with Southern Miss and Coastal every year, but that's not the case.
Yeah. All right, well,
Any other bold predictions, fellas?
Reed bold prediction: Reed watches the lowest amount of baseball this week between all of us.
Chances of that happening? Ooh, go cash your lottery.
Bold prediction: I'll watch more baseball than Tobin this week. You can take that one to the bank.
I'm excited tomorrow. I'm very excited to wake up tomorrow and watch it, right away. So I love this time of day.
Breakfast and baseball, yeah.
It's the best.
Breakfast and baseball.
Any of y'all going to be in attendance anywhere this weekend?
No, but me and Braxton will be on Hoist the Colors Steve and Igo show tomorrow afternoon at 12 noon. So be sure to tune into that as me and Braxton kind of preview some conference tournaments like we did tonight, as well as kind of look at it from ECU's lens. So.
And also watch out for we'll be doing this tonight, but Field of 64 is coming out tomorrow. Last one before last one before our last one, I guess. Right before
last one's coming out Sunday night.
So,
Yeah.
we'll have
the penultimate. Thank you, Colby. Yeah.
The committee usually, or the NCAA Twitter page will usually, I think it's usually around 8:00. If I remember in the past, I can't remember off the top of my head.
Don't they do the next Saturday night, or do they?
No, it's Sunday. They list the 16 hosts. I think it's around. Yeah, I think it's around 8:00 or so when they do
in
that.
Alphabetical order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not seed order. People get bamboozled by that every year.
Yeah. I think it had me last year. I was like, why is Auburn the number 1 overall seed?
Let's lock it in, Tobin. Let's lock in, Tobin. We sleep in July.
Yes, we do.
We sleep in July. The NFL training camp starts, and I'm ready to go. All right, folks.
All right,
let's go wrap it up. Our next show is when?
Well, I don't know. Probably.
Should we do like a midweek one to like recap some of the games that's happened so far?
No.
Maybe we'll.
I mean, Reed, like, do a midweek one when, like Thursday? Like, some of the teams wouldn't have played yet.
Yeah, that's tough. I don't know.
Like,
we'll figure it out behind the scenes. We can figure it out.
Let's do Sunday. Oh wait, Tobin's gonna be at a NASCAR race.
Dude, I would love to do like a live reaction to like the selection show or something. Like that would be a lot of fun.
That'd be sick.
We can talk about it off screen and figure something out. We'll tweet it out or whatever. But
I agree. All right. You can find all of our stuff at Carolina Curve BB on social media. Be sure to like on Spotify, follow on Spotify, subscribe on YouTube, like, comment. We appreciate all the support. Be sure to check out our Field of 64 releasing tomorrow morning as conference tournament play in the Carolinas begins. And folks, we will see you either before the selection show or after the selection show. Good night and enjoy the conference tournaments.